At first glance, this piece might look like it's in really good shape, and it also might look like an antique, but I can assure you it is neither. As you can see, it had some damaged veneer on the top and one of the drawers, which all had to come off before I could paint it, and it came off really easily as well. So I scraped it off with a sharp blade, and then I sanded it all smooth, and that left me with a couple of different types of wood on my finish. So to disguise that, I mixed silk mineral paint umber, which is a dark brown, and I also mixed some texture additive called sea spray into that paint and stippled it all over to give me a nice, consistent, even base. The texture in the paint also helps disguise the fact that I've got a couple of different types of wood going on here. Silk mineral paint also has a built-in stain blocking primer built into the paint, so you don't have to worry about priming separately if you don't want to, and this gives me a nice base in order to put my chalk mineral paints on, which are the colours that I'm using now. So I used several different yellows from Dixie Belle's chalk mineral paint range, and I wanted to create a kind of dirty ombre effect, so I used lots of water and blended those yellows so that it went from the very palest at the top to the darkest at the bottom. The trick is to use a little amount of paint and to use a little spritz of water to keep your paint open whilst you're blending the colours together. I also used a tiny bit of olive green on the very bottom of this piece just to give that kind of carved detail a little bit of definition and to also deepen the colour at the very bottom. Then I used a little bit of sandpaper and just distressed the detail to make that kind of pop. I also did a wash of a brown all over the piece, and this just helps antique the piece and make it kind of look a little bit rustic and aged. And after that, I sealed it all over with Best Dang Wax in clear, and also added a little bit of shading around the drawer edges and in the detail with some brown wax, and just wipe that back and buff the excess off. And here's a reminder of how the piece started out and how it finished up.